The San Francisco 49ers just got a boatload of good news. More good news I can't wait to tell you about in this episode. Hit subscribe if you're looking for daily 49ers content. As always, question for you guys real quick. Let me know where you're at right now in the comments with this roster. How are you feeling about the roster? Yesterday we had roster, and then today we had roster math, right? You got guys coming in on the practice squad. We'll be talking about a lot of that in this episode, but just let me know right now where you're feeling, how you're feeling, where you think this roster's at. Do you feel like this is an A roster, a B roster, a C roster? Give me a letter grade for this roster. Right now, I feel like this is a B, maybe B plus roster. I think because of the amount of rookies on this roster that you're relying on being starters, I'm excited about them. Don't get me wrong. I think this roster looks like a potential A roster later in the season, but right now I would give it a B. Let me know what you would give it in the comments below. Appreciate you guys. Let's jump into some of the news right away. We've got a bunch of good news. We have injury updates. We have new players coming to the 49ers today. And of course, we also have players we're welcoming back. Signed to the practice squad are several players that you're going to recognize. I'll just throw out a couple of them. One observation, by the way, and when we're looking at it, we have 1, 2, 3, isn't there 4 wide receivers? I'm missing somebody. I'll come back to that missing wide receiver in just a second. But we've got multiple wide receivers being brought to the practice squad. Robbie Chosen getting his opportunity back with the squad. Malik Turner, who had a good game, good opportunities when he was given it. He did a good job just this weekend. And then the big one, the man that a lot of people were really, really upset about, tons of you talking about it in the comments on yesterday's video, Sebastian Valdez, Hulk, is back. We somehow managed to keep him here. And I don't know what happened there. I don't know if the 49ers said, hey, man, here's the deal. We got to let somebody go. And just the way the roster math works out, don't go anywhere. We're going to bring you back. And he believed him? I don't know. I'm not sure. But if you're Sebastian Valdez, I'm guessing there's no team who's calling you that has a better scenario than what you're looking at with the 49ers, because you know how you've contributed already. You know what you've done in this system. You know what it feels like to work with Robert Saleh. So I think there has to be some of that in there, but I don't really know. Braden Willis comes back. That's actually happened in the past before, so not 100% surprised by that one. On the linebacker front, nice to have Jalen Graham back. That's cool. There's some nice opportunity there for him. Travis Gibson has done surprisingly well in training camp and this preseason, so that's exciting that he was able to make the team. I think Junior Bergen's kind of interesting because of his punt return ability. And so you have Sky Moore in there who's catching, but Sky Moore's on a 1-year deal, and he's going to be seeking a free agent money at the end of the season. So I don't know that he's going to be able to stay with the 49ers next season. So it is good to have somebody in development who's already shown flashes of what they can do as a punt returner if they can grow as a wide receiver, similar to what Tariq Owens did last year from the wide receiver development point of view. So I'm stoked on that. Nick Sakel joins with the 49ers again. That's great news, guys. That's great news. I know that Nick Sakel is not the best lineman out there in the world, but this is a guy who understands the system. This is a guy the 49ers have kept around for a long time. So here's a guy who understands what the 49ers are about, knows what Chris Foerster's looking for, and you have him on your practice squad as a guy who might end up needing to play a role on your team this season. We'll have to wait and see, of course. Derek Canteen was another interesting guy you got back. Who else? I've sort of gone out of order here. Drake Nugent's an interesting one. So yeah. Okay, let's keep moving. Russell Gage, we learned today, in the pre-practice presser. I'm still in training camp mode here. Now we got a pre-practice presser. So in the pre-practice presser, say that 12 times fast, we have Russell Gage coming back to the 49ers. That's awesome. So that news is somehow that's going to be done. Roster math before practice today is what I believe they said. Now that practice is already underway, it sounds like maybe it's tomorrow. But whatever the case is, Russell Gage, that's huge news, guys. I'm really excited that Russell Gage is going to be around and on this team because he's a veteran piece we desperately need. So that definitely changes things. Now, we'll talk about some of the new players in a second. We'll get to one of the ones I did a video on. I did an emergency video on my lunch break today and had to put down the sourdough to make sure that we could talk about it because it was that big of a deal to me. But we'll get to all of that in a second. First, this message from the sponsor of this video. Hey guys, the season is back, and you might want to make your football watching experience a little more interesting this season with DraftKings Sportsbook. Whether you're interested in the spread or you're excited about that anytime TD opportunity with your favorite player, football is back, and you don't need to look any further than DraftKings. My partners over at DraftKings just upped the ante for you. New customers can sign up today, place a $5 bet, and get $300 in bonus bets just by using my promo code STSF. This weekend, there are going to be some epic matchups. Who are you going to be watching? Who do you feel like is destined for a massive game? DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with everything from futures to same-game parlays. They have you covered before the game and live right in the middle of the action. The next great touchdown is coming, and if you're looking for a place to make it a little more interesting, sign up today with DraftKings Sportsbook, place a $5 bet, and get $300 in bonus bets using my promo code STSF. So let's get into guys who came to the Bay. You've obviously got this guy, MVS. We did a whole video breakdown on him at lunch break today, so you probably have already had a chance to see that video. If you haven't, go check it out. The 49ers also got Jordan Jefferson, and it looks like a see you later to Evan Anderson in that move. Now, because it's very interesting that they chose Evan Anderson over Sebastian Valdez with the 53, then after waivers, you've got Sebastian Valdez on your practice squad and Evan Anderson is gone. Does that mean Evan Anderson's actually coming back? Does that mean that Evan Anderson is just a day late in the way that they're moving everything around and their likelihood of trying to get guys back? Maybe that's what's actually going on. They like Evan Anderson. He has great potential. He's still young, also an undrafted from a year earlier. So there's some nice benefits there. Jefferson says Taylor Worth from NBC Sports Bay Area. Jefferson, 23, was selected by the Jacksonville Jaguars in the 4th round of the 2024 NFL Draft. Recorded 12 combined tackles, 1 sack, and 1 pass defense in 8 games with the Jaguars last season. In his 1 season at LSU in 2023, Jefferson registered 36 tackles, 7 for loss, and 2.5 sacks of 13 games. So nice little potential there on 6 starts. So not so bad there. You at least like the numbers based on the very limited amount of data that we have on the guy. But there's another guy that you just brought in there. The 49ers also brought in a quarterback, bringing in former Jets quarterback Adrian Martinez to their practice squad. These are guys who are in the Bay now. Let's talk about guys who are also in the Bay who just came back from injury, starting with YGM, Yetur Gross-Matos, trending. We learned yesterday he came back from injury, off the pup, activated to the team. That's great. Looks like he's trending toward being available to play week 1, says Kyle Shanahan. That's great. That's fantastic news. That's incredible news, considering at one point the YGM news started to look like he was a pup candidate, which started to have me a little concerned about some of the veteran depth that we have on the defensive line. So that's great. I think this is awesome. We talked about his versatility. He brings that versatility. That's a massive, massive help for the San Francisco 49ers. So that cannot be understated. That's a big one. So love that he's back. Then you've got Upton Stout is returning to practice today per Kyle Shanahan. Cannot say enough how important Upton Stout is to this team. With Renardo Green just coming back from injury, with De'Amar Lenore basically being moved to becoming a permanent outside corner, then you have this opportunity available to you in the nickel corner spot. And that nickel spot, if you have Upton Stout as your guy, and now what we've seen Chase Lucas can do in preseason, but if you see what you got Chase Lucas here, now you've got a guy and a backup guy that you're at least pretty optimistic about what they're capable of, what the ceiling is on these players. So that's really, really great news. I'm stoked that Upton Stout is returning. He obviously, as a rookie, he impressed very early. He was blowing people away with what he was capable of in such a short amount of time. So I'm not trying to put any limitations on the kid, but because he's a rookie, there's always that concern in the back of my mind that he's coming back. He has 2 weeks to prep for his first ever NFL game against players he's never played against in his life, and that does concern me in terms of his ability to start week 1. So we'll see how that goes. But with how many reps you got out of Chase Lucas, I think that's an interesting prospect if you need somebody to come in and do a job and you don't want De'Amar Lenore kind of playing both ways. there is a nice little balance there, a nice little benefit for the San Francisco 49ers. But the most juicy of them all, we've talked about this guy a lot, Jauan Jennings. I don't want to go too crazy on this one, but I know my guy Joe out there, he's often listening, and I know how he feels about how people have talked about Jauan Jennings, myself included, and I respect your take as always, man. But here's what John Lynch said about Jauan Jennings today, saying Jauan is still working through his calf issue, making progress. We're kind of like everyone else, hopeful but not sure about week 1, okay? He also said in his interview that basically 2 things can be true. Jauan Jennings can be seeking a contract and can be injured at the same time. So basically, I'm thinking of you, Joe, when I say this, but he is validating that this injury is legit. He is still continually, putting that out there, that this is a legit injury. This is not a fake thing. This is not just contractual. It's both contractual and injury. The interesting thing to me was that he admitted the contractual part, basically saying it's still going on. Even went on to say that Jauan Jennings did actually request a trade, that was real. That news when it came out was real. However, the 49ers and Jauan Jennings and Drew Rosenhaus were able to agree to move on from the idea of trading and to move toward some kind of a contractual agreement, which to me says they are going to move forward. I don't know if that means there's a contract. I also don't know if that means that Jauan Jennings is still holding in or whatever. And I do think that the injury is still a part of it. So in a weird way, it doesn't change anything, but it's all new information. Does that make any sense? So as far as I'm concerned, the way that the wide receiver room sets up right now, you'd still love for Jauan Jennings to be one of your top dogs on the team. I don't think he's going anywhere. I saw some comments on my emergency video today, and I did not intend for you guys to leave believing that I thought Jauan Jennings is gone. I wasn't trying to say Jauan Jennings is gone. I'm just trying to say that all these guys coming in takes away the leverage that Drew Rosenhaus has on his client, Jauan Jennings. And I think this is good news, ultimately, for the possibility of this being resolved soon. I think that Jauan Jennings has every right to ask for a contract. I think that, the 49ers have every right to say, we don't place the value that you were able to give us. That's just not the way that it shakes out. And you can see we got Russell Gage back. We believe in him. He's going to be back, I should say. You obviously have Ricky Pearsall. You have George Kittle. You have Christian McCaffrey. These are main targets that you're going to be feeding. And Jauan Jennings doesn't have to be your main target if you've also gone and brought in MVS, and you've also gone and you have Brandon Aiyuk on the way, in potentially interested in Kendrick Bourne. So, definitely interested in Kendrick Bourne. I mean, they've said that they're interested in Kendrick Bourne. So I think there's just a lot of moving parts right now. I think there's a lot of potential wide receivers, and you don't have a lot of guys because of Kyle Shanahan's system. You don't have a lot of guys that you're saying that has to be your WR1. That has to be your go-getter guy. That has to be the guy that you go to in the moment when you need him most, other than George Kittle, Brandon Aiyuk, maybe someday Ricky Pearsall. So basically the way that this is all shaken out, I'm saying a lot of words to get across a very simple point. I think that everybody is right in the position that they're in, and finding a middle ground can be really tricky for the 49ers and Jauan Jennings if the 49ers can just bring in a little extra guaranteed, or look at the contract structure and say, hey, all these little things that you could earn, we're just going to guarantee him right now. All the bonuses and all that. Let's just call that a good next step. Jauan Jennings needs a big year in order to get big money, right? He is set up in a contract year right now. So he needs the opportunity to go out there and prove it. And I don't know that he's going to get it on this offense. I just don't know the opportunity is going to be there because there's so many other guys and so many mouths to feed. So there's a lot to figure out here for the 49ers. I can't wait to see what they do. Let me know in the comments if you have a feeling about what they're going to do. I think this is absolutely wild, very exciting, and I'm looking forward to 11 days from now when the San Francisco 49ers, with most of their roster back from injury, which will feel good, is going to be taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Going to be really exciting. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on all the action between now and then and beyond. Appreciate you guys, and hope you guys have a fantastic Wednesday afternoon and evening.